Welcome to my channel Daily Bulletin News. Days of Our Lives Lost. Horton could be gearing up for a return and some redemption. Regrets. We all likely have a few in our lives, and more often than not they probably revolve around love. In Stephanie's case, we learned on today's Days of Our Lives that one of her biggest regrets was hooking up with Jeremy Horton. If you want to know the context, check out our recap of Jada's jello-filled bachelorette party. We're guessing that name probably rings a bell, but if the details about him are a bit fuzzy, don't worry, we've got you covered. Jeremy was one of the more troubled Hortons, which isn't exactly a huge surprise since the deck seemed stacked against him from the start. He was born off-screen in 1987 after Robin Jacobs left Salem, never telling one-time beau Mike Horton that she was pregnant with their child. By the time she returned a year later with their surprise son, hoping to reconcile, Mike had already moved on. So Robin left Salem once again with their son. Jeremy wasn't seen until he was all grown up in 2007 and Trevor Donovan stepped into the role. And when he showed up in town, he was already dating Stephanie, at the time played by Shelley Hennig. They'd met while she was racing down in Daytona, remember when she was a race car driver? And Steph wasted no time in introducing him around town and asking her friends to invest in his private airline service, Touch the Sky Airlines. Ostensibly, it was meant to ferry the rich from Salem to Las Vegas, but in reality, it was a front for the DeMaras to smuggle merchandise to Sin City. As if that wasn't bad enough, Jeremy had serious anger issues, was abusive towards Stephanie, and had been convicted of everything from fraud to shoplifting. Eventually, the smuggling scheme was uncovered, but while the DeMaras got off with a slap on the wrist, Jeremy had to go on the run to stay ahead of the law. At the time, he seemed to want to set his life right, but we haven't seen him since. Stephanie wasn't all that broken up either, since, aside from the abusiveness, she'd already been falling for Max while they both worked for the bogus airline. Jeremy isn't mentioned all that much, so we were pleasantly surprised to hear his name pop up once again. Does that mean he could be on the way back soon? Never say never, seeing as how the show has been bringing a number of Hortons back recently between Doug's death and the upcoming 60th anniversary. Mike's son is one of the more troubled ones, but perhaps, like Julie's brother, Stephen, he could return someday with the news that he really has turned his life around. Though that's not to say he and Stephanie should try getting back together. She's clearly still traumatized by their relationship, but Salem is the town of second chances, and third and fourth, and there's nothing to say he could start over once again. Stay tuned and subscribe the channel.